Hi class, I was hoping that you could help me with my paper, give me some good feedback. It's about immigration and immigration policy here close to Tijuana. California used to belong to Mexico, and California and Baja California are interconnected in many ways. Not only has this been a corridor of illegal immigration, it has also formed a major corridor in the drug trade, a multi-billion-dollar industry, and traveling up the I-5 to Los Angeles. The U.S. government under President Obama has set a deportation criteria for felons and violent criminals. Here in Southern California, we should really look at the reality of what this means to the region. Just because some criminals are removed from the rolls doesn't mean that they've gone away. I saw people getting deported in San Ysidro, like these guys here. At around 4 a.m. in the morning, a U.S. federal prison bus releases them. They walk through the rotating one-way gates into Tijuana. The ex-cons carry a paper bag, in this case plastic, with their belongings. They first stop to put on their shoes and then their belt. They walk into the dark Tijuana morning, bag in hand. Every deported person who I've met tells me the same story. They were guilty of felony DUI, which I consider to be a statistical impossibility. It's important to manage deportation of violent criminals because Mexico is our neighbor. And our ally, and the criminals pose a public health risk to Mexican citizens. It is also important because these people usually have familial ties to American citizens, affecting spouses, children, and parents. And finally, gang culture is very strong, and our policy could affect public policy in California as well as Baja California. Mexicans, Guatemalans, Salvadorans, Hondurans, and even Cubans are being deported to Baja California. Basically, violent criminals are piling up in the cities next to the border. Some neighborhoods in Tijuana are overrun with gangbangers from California. This is a picture of the Tijuana River. It's an aqueduct. It's really filthy. And that's the flag you can see from the Las Americas shopping mall. And one man was deported 3 times, and he killed himself on this bridge by putting a plastic bag over his head. So it's actually real. Okay. According to the law in Baja California, a person needs documents to work. I guess my point is that a lot of people who get deported don't really know much about Mexican life, and they're not willing to accept the reality that they have to make a future for themselves in Mexico. Most of the deported criminals do not have federal documents to work. The process involves traveling to the city or town of their birth and first obtaining a birth certificate. Then they go to the federal government and obtain their citizenship and documents. So my proposal is very practical, that after taking care of these people in our expensive prisons, that we pay a little more money for transportation so that each ex-con goes to their birthplace in Mexico. It doesn't have to be first-rate travel, and it's a lot cheaper in Mexico than the United States. And the second idea is that Homeland Security should create and maintain a web-based database that contains the photo, name, and criminal record for each criminal deported to Mexico. The benefits are that the criminals are directed towards becoming productive members of Mexican society by helping them obtain their citizenship and right to work. And secondly, it physically moves criminals from the border to their birthplace. And finally, it allows regular Mexicans to have access to these violent criminal records, so they can manage the risk to themselves, families, and neighborhoods. So I used to live in Tijuana, and I did see these guys in the morning because that's 4 in the morning is when I would travel back and forth. And there's a couple of reasons why it's important to me. One is I see this as a problem that will only get worse, and I've heard politicians talk and talk and talk about immigration and not really do anything very practical. And the second is it seems like it's something very doable, and that another reason why it's important to me is that people I know, I have family members in Tijuana, and uh, they've had more and more sort of confrontations with gangbangers, mostly from Los Angeles, and that some of them have been threatened. And on another anecdote that's really heart-wrenching is that I don't understand why, but a Cuban man was deported to Tijuana, and he was a murderer, and he murdered a little girl and sexually abused her and murdered her. And I just think that we need to have some more accountability. Um, and anyway, that's the reason why I thought it was important. And I guess I'm wondering if what you think um, I should look for evidence to make it seem real. And also, do you have any ideas on how I can get a hold of statistics on deportations to particular ports of entry? Because I know that the numbers are large, but I don't know. I haven't been able to find the data yet. Um, Please let me know if you think this is important. Oh, and another reason why I think it's important to us is I think we need to de sort of criticize gangbanger uh, lifestyle, because in California a lot of people get swept into this gang life, and I've met people that have been recruited when they were 9 years old and really never had a future. And so I feel like another thing we need to do is just show things for what they are, that the streets in America aren't paved in gold, and that that these criminals are not um, it's not it's we should criticize criminal behavior at the same time opening the door to people and show them how they can uh, actually have a future in Mexico.